What if I told you there's one habit so simple yet so powerful that it can almost guarantee you'll never be broke again? Sounds a little crazy, right? Most people think building wealth comes from hitting the jackpot, launching a $1 million idea, or getting an inheritance. But here's the twist. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do every single day with the money you already have. And that's the paradox hardly anyone notices. There are people making six figures who stay broke, while others with average paychecks end up building real wealth. It's not luck. It's not genius. It's habit and discipline. The best part? You don't need to flip your life upside down to start. Now listen, what I'm about to share isn't obvious. It's counterintuitive, maybe even uncomfortable, because it challenges everything you've been taught about money. But if you want to see why it's basically impossible to stay poor once you practice this every day, stick with me till the end. And hey, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the real money lessons no one else is telling you. The 10-a-day secret. Did you know that someone saving just $10 a day could stack up over 100 grand in less than 20 years without ever getting a raise? Sounds wild, but it's straight math. And that's usually where the shock hits. People realize it's not about making more, it's about what you're consistently doing with what you already have. Now flip it around. How many times do little harmless spends, a coffee here, a delivery order there, random stuff on sale, sneak out of your pocket every single day? Add them up and it's way more than those $10 that could have been compounding for you. That's the punch in the face most people ignore. Small daily choices are what decide if you're building wealth or staying stuck. And here's the kicker. Our brains love to downplay the small stuff. We tell ourselves it doesn't matter, that I'll start saving when I earn more. But that's the trap that keeps most people broke. The truth is, the small, boring habit is where the real shield against poverty lives. And that illusion of needing big money to start takes us straight into the next point. The big leap illusion. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking they'll only start saving or investing when they finally make real money. You've probably heard it before. When I double my paycheck, then I'll start. The problem is that perfect moment never shows up. And waiting for it is exactly why so many people stay broke year after year. The truth? Wealth doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from small steps stacked on top of each other. Think about building a house. You don't throw up a mansion over the weekend. You lay one brick at a time. It's the same with money. If you keep waiting to have a huge pile before you start, you're actually losing the most valuable thing of all, time. And here's the irony. People love comparing themselves to those who are already rich, thinking the gap is too big. But if they looked closer, they'd see those same millionaires started small. They just refused to wait. That's the difference between the people who break free from poverty and the ones who stay stuck in the someday I'll start mindset. Which brings us to the real power of daily bricks. The power of daily bricks. When people hear saving $10 a day can change your life, most laugh it off. It feels way too small to matter. But that's exactly the magic. Those tiny daily bricks, stacked one after another, eventually turn into a financial fortress. The trick isn't starting big, it's showing up every single day, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Take this example. Someone sets aside $300 a month and throws it into something simple like treasury bonds or an index fund. At first, it feels painfully slow, like watching paint dry. But as the years roll on, the money doesn't just add up. It snowballs thanks to compounding. Before long, that boring little habit is turning into serious wealth. And it's not just money. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't feel like much, but that's 12 books a year. Learning one new skill in small doses daily can make you unrecognizable in 5 years. Daily bricks don't look powerful in the moment, but over time, they build skyscrapers. And once that habit becomes part of who you are, everything shifts, which leads right into the next piece of the puzzle, the invisible force of compound interest. Most people don't really get what happens when money starts working for you instead of the other way around. Compound interest isn't just some boring formula from math class. It's the silent engine that turns small amounts into fortunes over time. Picture a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and heavier with every turn. That's compounding. And the earlier you start, the more unstoppable it becomes. Here's a simple example. Let's say you invest $500 a month at an average return of 10% a year. After 20 years, you don't just have the $120,000 you put in. You've got around $380,000. That extra $250,000 didn't come from working harder. It came from compound interest quietly stacking your money day after day. That's the kind of math that flips people's perspective upside down. But here's the scary part. Compounding works against you too. Credit card debt, payday loans, all those minimum payments are just compounding. In reverse, building a snowball for the bank instead of you. And that's the harsh reality. The same force can either make you wealthy or keep you drowning in debt, which is exactly why discipline becomes the true game changer. Discipline, the real game changer. A lot of people think getting rich takes genius-level IQ, crazy talent, or being born in the right family. But if you look closely, the ones who actually make it aren't usually the smartest or the most gifted. They're the most disciplined. Anyone can get excited for a week, but the real winners are the ones who keep showing up month after month, year after year, until the habit becomes second nature. Think about athletes. It's not one insane workout that gets them to the Olympics. It's the boring, repetitive practice sessions nobody sees. Money works the same way. Putting aside even a small amount every day might look insignificant, but it's the glue that keeps your financial snowball rolling. Discipline is the cement that holds all those little daily bricks together. And here's the thing. Discipline doesn't mean living like a robot. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Like sailing. The wind will change, the waves will push, but if your compass stays steady, you'll eventually hit your destination. That's the real separator between the people who break free financially and those who keep spinning their wheels. And that shift leads straight into something even bigger. Identity. The identity shift at first. Saving a little money every day feels like just another task. Kind of like brushing your teeth. But after a while, something deeper kicks in. You start seeing yourself as someone who builds wealth, not just someone who's trying to save. That identity shift is massive. Because once it happens, the habit isn't forced anymore. It's simply who you are. Here's what it looks like in real life. A person who calls themselves an investor, even if they're only putting in small amounts, starts making choices differently. That impulse buy doesn't feel as tempting anymore because it clashes with who they see in the mirror. It's the same way someone who sees themselves as healthy naturally avoids junk food. Money works exactly the same way, and that's the real power. Once your identity changes, discipline becomes automatic. You don't have to fight yourself every day because the new you already makes the right calls. At that point, wealth isn't some distant dream, it's the natural result of how you live. And once you get there, something amazing happens. You realize the habit isn't just about avoiding poverty, it's about unlocking freedom. The final trigger. Once you understand that wealth doesn't come from luck but from daily habits, the whole game changes. You realize it's not just about stacking cash, it's about buying freedom. Freedom to choose where you live, who you spend your time with, and what projects you say yes to. Every small daily action adds up not just in your bank account, but in the life you get to design. And that's the final trigger. Knowing that a simple, repeatable habit isn't only keeping you safe from being broke, it's opening doors to choices most people never get. When you do this consistently, you stop being chained to your paycheck, the economy, or other people's opinions. You finally get to play life on your own terms. The crazy part? It all starts in ways so small you barely notice them. That coffee you skipped, the $10 you invested, the book you read before bed. On their own, they look like nothing. But give it time, and they turn into everything. And once you see that, staying broke stops being an option. At the end of the day, it's not your paycheck size or a lucky break that decides your financial future. It's the habit you practice every single day. The question is, are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment, or are you going to start now with what you already have and let time do the heavy lifting? Think about it. Where could you be 5 or 10 years from now if you locked in this simple daily habit today? More freedom? More peace of mind? The ability to live life on your own terms? And on the flip side, where will you be if you keep putting it off? Still stuck in the same cycle, wondering why nothing changes? The difference comes down to one decision. So don't let this knowledge sit idle. Put it into action, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because every new video here is another step toward the financial freedom you deserve.